Hey there, Heather. Hello there, Jeff Third, and welcome you to another video of the Stone Cold Hockey Canada Day Tournament. From every one of the 8 Canadian cities, have 2 teams in, and we get 16 teams, and we're in a tournament. By the way, Doug Gilmour of the '94 Leafs have 8 goals, so that's amazing. With 6 other players with 5, so Gilmour leads in that. Points wise, Gilmour had 13 points in the first round. Connor McDavid, well, of course he went 24 others with 13. Al McGinnis and Real Cluche, both with 10 points. And I think they're both out, right? I don't remember. LA Minutes unofficially win the Stanley recovery with 34. Nevertheless, Dan Bouchard, Ken Dryden, and Bunny LaRock have had some great goaltending stuff and all that, especially Bouchard with a pair, him, Dryden, and Eric Comrie with a shutout. If essence, when you look at the goals against, it's weird that Kiprasov is 0-4 with 3.29 goals against, but still did better than Felix Potvin, who had a 3.43 goals against average, and he won the playoffs. So as we look at the bracket, the 79 Nordiques, WHA style, beat the 65 Habitants in 6, beat Jean Beliveau. Wow. 79 Habs swept the 2012 Canucks. You know, the 79 Habs starting their finishing their 4-year dynasty in the late 70s, and Vancouver, winning the President's Trophy but sucking. The 2006 Senators swept the 79 Jets of the WHA, Ottawa doing their job because Ray Emery and John McCaskill were in the Nets. The 94 Leafs had to win Game 7 against the 94 Flames and give me a happy things. The 2025 Jets beat the 2024 Oilers in Game 7. Big win for Winnipeg. 24 Oilers, of course, lost the Stanley Cup final to the Panthers after being down 3-9 and forced to Game 7, but lost 94. Yeah, 2006 Suns were looking at 79 Jets for the last WHA champions, the 94 Leafs, who fell apart in the conference finals against the Canucks, and the 94 Flames, who got taken out by the Canucks as well, but this time in the first round. 25 Jets were the President's Trophy winners. The 2006 Flames against the 1984 Nordiques. The Nordiques doing their job with the sweep. Both teams iffy in the playoffs. The 84 Oilers took care of the 65 Leafs in 6. I wanted to have a Leafs team that looked good with Bauer and Suchuk in the nets. 84 Oilers, that's Gretzky led. And the 25 Senators won in 5 over the 94 Canucks. Could be youngsters against the team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost Game 7. So we will be doing the quarterfinals and all that. Just to let you know that Ottawa and Quebec both have 2 teams in. Edmonton, Montreal, Toronto, and Winnipeg have 1. Each Calgary and Vancouver have 0. Game 1 of the quarterfinals sees Quebec win en prolongation. Brodeur beats Bunny LaRock. J.C. Tremblay, former Hab, a 232 from Bilodeau and Bordelot. Does the job. Guy Lafleur did score on the power play to tie the game, but they didn't. The 25 Jets. Winnipeg wins 3-2. Big win for them in Quebec. Comrie beats Bouchard. Winnipeg goes by Lowry, Morrissey, and Falardi. Quebec goes by Michel Goulet and Way of Payment, the last player to wear 99 before Gretzky. 25 Sens with a 3-1 win. Big win for them. Moog loses the hallmark. Edmonton goal by Glenn Anderson, but Sanderson, Riley Greig, and Bafferson doing the job for Ottawa. And the 94 Leafs win 3-2 in their first game. Hasek losing to Damian Rhodes. Ottawa goes by Fermat and Danny Heatley, Gill, Eastwood, and Cullen for T-Dot. Game 2 sees the 84 Nordiques win in overtime. They'll tie the series at 2:19 over beating Eric Comrie, John Van Bexmeer from Goulet and Gillis. So Danny Bouchard beats Comrie. Edmonton crushing Ottawa, so they're tied 1-1. Fuhr beats Forsberg. Ottawa goes by Mentapello and Brady Tkachuk. Edmonton goes by Gretzky, Pusar, Coffee, Kitchener, Anderson, Linsman, and the Rat one more time, just to be safe. The 94 Leafs are now up 2-0 on the 06 Senators, 6-5. Potvin beats Mike Morrison. Ottawa goes by Fisher, Fermat, Fisher again, then Fermat, and then Smolinski. Ottawa was up 3-1, but blew it. Cullen, his third, then Gardner, Anderchuk, Gilmour, Pearson, Gilmour, and Peter Cecil scoring a goal. Finally, RIP. 79 Habs split their series 2-1. Corsi losing to Kenny Dryden. Fitchner scored in the second period, but Mondu and Serge Savard, the Senator, scoring for Montreal. Toronto, will they go up 3-0? The answer is no. They lose 5-2 to the Senators. Hasek beats Bothan back in Ottawa. Toronto goes by Ellett and interject. Schaefer, Chara, Heatley, Schubert with the goals for L'Ottawa. Edmonton wins 5-2. Bogue beats Forsberg. Ottawa, 25 Ottawa goes by Pinto, Bean, and Greek. Edmonton goes by Linsman, Coffee with 2, Kitchener, and finally, Curry puts in goals. Quebec beats Winnipeg in overtime as Bouchard beats Comrie. At 4:11 of overtime, Alain Cote, 105 minutes. Oh boy, 105 minutes. So they had to go through triple overtime. Alain Cote from Paymont and Stastny. Amazing. They have to go through 105 minutes of action. Winnipeg was up at Quebec. Only 3 penalties, though. Wow. 105 minutes. It was like, what the hell? And 79 Montreal crushes Quebec in the fine powder 7-2. Dryden beats King Richard. Quebec goes by Real Cloutier and Brackenbury. Montreal goes Mario Tremblay. Réjean Roux, Yvan Lambert, Guy Lafleur, point 2 final scoring, Jacques Lemaire. So basically, Montreal looking pretty good. Every series is at 2-1. Ottawa makes it a best of 3, 6-2. Emery over Potvin. Toronto goes by Anderchak, both of them. Heatley with 2. Well, actually a hat trick. Heatley's now got 11 goals. Volchenkov, Havlet, and Vermette. So yeah, Danny Heatley, he's as good as advertised. Game 4, Quebec wins on Procassion. It's now 2-2. Quebec tied the game. Jordan. Cloutier from Lacombe and Tartif. In overtime, Bilodeau from La Riviere. Game 4, Winnipeg wins 3-2. That forces a best of 3 right now. Comrie beats Bouchard. Quebec goes by Peter Sanchez and Andre Savard, by Ivaldo Filardi and Sandberg. Not Andy Sandberg. And 25 Ottawa's forced a game 6 with a 2-1 win. Wow. Omar beats Moog. Perron and Kachuk for Ottawa. Messier for Edmonton. But after that, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Game 5, Quebec wins in overtime. They could put the Habs on the ropes. Richard Brodeur beats Bunny the Rock. Quebec was up 3-1. They had to score a goal with the empty net. Bernier from Tardif and Danny Jeffrion. Boy, Montreal fans will be upset because, that's Boom Jeffrion's son. And then at 8:23, Paulin Bordelot from Francis Lacombe for a seal. Winnipeg beats Quebec, the 84 team, so they're up 3-2. Comrie beats Malarchuk. Quebec was up 3-0. Bo Berglund, Louis Slager, and Will Paymont doing the 3 goals. Winnipeg then came up with 4 straight. Kyle Connor with 2, Filardi, and then Pion scored the goal. Game 5, Edmonton wins in overtime in Ottawa. Fury beats Olmark. They actually had to score with like 30 seconds left. Curry from Lindstrom. And then right away, Messier from Pusar and Lensman for his 6th. Game 5, Ottawa crushing Toronto. Poor Toronto, 94 Toronto losing 7-2. Potvin gets ripped by Emery. Toronto goes by Gilmore and Bob Rouse. Remember him? Ottawa goes by Alfie, Chara, Farada, Heatley, and then Chris Neal put up 2. So Danny Heatley looks good. All right, game 6. Does Quebec win their series? They do. They shocked the 79 Habs in overtime. 79 Quebec 4-0 in overtime. Otherwise, they're 0-2. Larocque losing to Corsi. Montreal was up 2-0. Shutting Gainey, but then Cote and Paul Baxter scoring. And then in overtime at 9:27. Richie Leduc from La Riviere and Baxter. So the 79 Nordiques shocked the 79 Habs. I can't believe it. So the 79 Habs, no more Montreal teams left. Ken Dryden 5-1. Why did you put Bunny Larocque in the net? Guy Lafleur led in points with 13, Shutt with 11, Pierre Mondu with 10, Engblom, Cam Connor, Dan Newman with points. Hello, Newman. So they swept the 2012 Canucks but lost to the 79 Nordiques. Winnipeg, did they win their series? Yes, they do. 3-1. So the 25 Jets are now going to the semis. Comrie beats Bouchard. Quebec go by Paymont, but Scheifele, Gustafson, and Connor. Kyle Connor does his job, and Quebec is well, they still got one horse. Bouchard 6-3, Malarchuk 0-1. Will Payment 11 points. Goulet and Cote 8 each. McCagney, Muller, Lapointe, Wesley, and Andre Dore with at least 1 point. Tony McCagney. They did it wrong. Yeah, the 85 Nordiques swept the 06 Flames by taking on 6. Edmonton, did they win their series? Yes, they do. In overtime, 5-4. It was a tight game. Ottawa goals by Gaudette, Brady Kachuk, Sanderson, Amadeo. Edmonton goals in regulation. Anderson, Hughes, and Pulsar. And then at 5:47 overtime, Anderson from Curry and Lee Fogelin Jr. Edmonton wins 5-4. To move on, the Senators, the 25 team, 3 goalies. Levi Merlin was 2-0. Olmark was 3-1. Anton Forsberg, why the hell did you put him in the nets? Kachuk and Sanderson with 13 points. Tim Stutz at 12. Sub and Highmore with only 1 point each. And 06 Ottawa, do they win? Yes, they do. In overtime. Look, Quebec, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Ottawa all have a team in play. Ottawa in overtime. Toronto looked decent. Gilmore, Anderchuk. But Ottawa goes by Fermat, Elfie, and then Bochenski. And in overtime, on the power play, Heatley has 14 from Alfredson. So basically, Danny Heatley is picking up numbers like no tomorrow. So the 94 Leafs are out. Potheim 5-7, Rhodes 1-0. Gilmore 19 points, Anderchuk 16, Ellett 9. Mark Osborne, Super Mark Osborne with 1 point. They beat the 94 Flames in 7, but lost in 6. So let's look at the summary. Heatley with 14 goals. He leads everyone. Doug Gilmore, the 94 Leafs, he's out, but he's got 11. Rail Kluche, the 79 Nordiques, have 9. Points wise, Heatley number 1, Gilmore number 2, Shifley number 3. He's still around. Ken Dryden goals against 172. Dan Bouchard second. Andy Moog third. Ray Emery 5-0. Nice. Yeah, LaRock's 1-3, but has a better goals against than King Richard Brodeur, who's 7-3. Felix Potvin won 5 games and has a worse mark than Anton Forsberg. So it's Winnipeg, Quebec, and Edmonton, Ottawa. So it's the President's Trophy winner of 2025, Winnipeg against the WHA icon Quebec Nordiques. The 84 Oilers with Gretzky and Co. against the 06 Senators with Hasek and Emery. Game 1 sees Winnipeg win 2-1. Comrie beats Brodeur. Quebec goal by Christian Bordelot. Winnipeg goals by Kyle Connor and Josh Morrissey. Ottawa beats Edmonton 3-2. Big win for Hasek over Fuhr. Edmonton goes by Poussard and Curry. Schaefer and 2 from Fermat to get to 10 for Ottawa. Game 2 in Edmonton, it will be Ottawa in overtime. So the 06 Senators are up 2-0. Hasek beats Fuhr again. Ottawa had a score in the final minute with Semenko in the box for slashing. Fermat has 11 from Heatley and Smolinski. While Smolinski and Chris Kelly scored in regulation. Edmonton goes by Curry, Jackson, and Gretzky. Only his 3rd goal. Chris Neal in overtime from Spezza and McGrattan. Ryan McGrattan's a thug, but hey, he has an assist. Winnipeg wins 5-1. They're now 2 up. Comrie beats Corsi. Quebec goal by Serge Bernier. Connor, Filardi, Appleton, Morrissey, and Iavalo scoring for Winnipeg. They're up 2-0. Game 3 sees Winnipeg win 4-1. They're looking good. Comrie over Corsi. Bernier his 8th, but not Niedermeyer, Iafallo, Filardi, and then Nemestikov finally scoring a goal. It's 4-1 Winnipeg. And Ottawa wins. They're now up 3-0, 6-2. Fuhr losing the Hasek. Edmonton goes by Paul Coffey. Kitchener is 9th. Messier is 7th. Ottawa goes Fermat, Havlet, Alfredson, Schaefer, Heatley, Alfredson again. So beautiful. And in game 4, Ottawa doesn't sweep. Edmonton wins 4-1. Fuhr beats Morrison. Ottawa goes by Chara, but Jackson, Lindstrom, Gretzky, and Coffey doing the job. Kitchener. Quebec survives 3-1. Brodeur beat Comrie. Winnipeg got the first goal by Appleton, but Bernier, Tartif, and Leduc scoring the goals. Game 5 sees Winnipeg win 5-2, so they do their job. Comrie beats Corsi. Quebec goes by Riel and Fitchner. Winnipeg goes Morrissey, Appleton, Domestica, Perfetti finally scoring, and Nino Niederreiter. So the 79 Nordiques, Brodeur 8-4. Corsi just couldn't do anything about it. Tartif 17 points to lead everyone. Norm Dubé and Kevin Morrison with 1 point each. They beat the 65 Habs in 6. The other Montreal team, the 79 team in 6, and then they lose to Winnipeg. So basically, they faltered outside their breed. Ottawa beats Edmonton 7-6, so they win in five. Emery versus Fear. Ottawa was up 6-2 and nearly choked it. Chara, Smolinski, Heatley, Alfredson, Massaros, Chara, and Heatley. So Heatley with 2 goals. Lots of Ottawa scoring. Edmonton goes by Kevin McClellan, Curry, Pusar, Semenko finally scoring Linsman and McClelland. But the fact of the matter is the 84 Oilers lose 7-6. So Ottawa will move on against Winnipeg. I never thought those guys would make it through. 84 Edmonton, Pure 6-6, Moog 3-2. Gretzky 23 points, Coffee 22, Linsman 19, Vogelin, Conacher, and Ken Berry with points. Yeah, but Gretzky with 19 assists. Yeah. Well, they beat the 65 Leafs in six. They beat the 25 Sens in six, and then get the other Ottawa team, but lose to them. Well, the 06 Senators, well, they sweep the 79 Jets. They take out the 94 Leafs in six. And the 84 Oilers. So, yeah, Patrick 6-1, Emery 6-0, Mike Morrison should not start. Healy's got 26 points, Everson 19, Spencer 17, Brian McGrattan with 1 point, and that was 8 assists. Yeah, they took out the 79 Jets in a sweep, the 94 Leafs in six, and the 84 Oilers in five. So, yeah, they've done 0-1-2. So they've lost 3 games in the roll, and the 25 Jets have lost 6. 7 against the 24 Oilers, 6 against the 84 Nordiques, and then 5 against the 79 Nordiques. So basically, they took out both Quebec teams. So that's just impressive. Eric Comrie's played all the games. I don't know why. Shifley, 22 points. Connor Morrissey there. Kupari, Colin Miller, Chuburikov, and Hayden Fleury with 1 points. So we're in the finals. It's Winnipeg, Ottawa. Game 1 sees Ottawa win 8-5. Emery beats Comrie. Winnipeg goes by Nino, Connor, Nino, and Pionk. Ottawa goes by Neil, Eves, Vermette, Fisher, Eves, Heatley, Alfredson, and Smolinski. Game 2 sees Winnipeg win 2-1. Comrie beats Hasek. Connor is 12, Nino his 6 for Winnipeg. Ottawa, Fisher his 4th. So game 3 sees Winnipeg win 4-2. That's Comrie beats Emery. Ottawa goes by Chris Kelly his 2nd, Chris Phillips his 1st. Winnipeg goes by Sandberg, Ehlers, and Larry. At 2-1, Game 4 sees Ottawa win 4-1 to force at least a Game 6. Emery beats Comrie. Sandberg is 3rd. Ottawa goes Albertson, his 11th. Schaefer is 4th. Vermette his 14th. And Smolinski 7th. Game 5. Anyway, Winnipeg wins 2-0. Conway over Hasek. Larry Nino scores. So Winnipeg now has a chance to win this championship. They go to Game 6. It will be Emery versus Comrie. I don't know why Hellebuck is 9 in the net. But anyway, you go with what you brought. And Ray Emery is pretty good too. So here are the Jets in order. Well, both teams have won 50 plus games in real life. Anyway, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Kitchener native, but very cold. That's why I don't yell Kitchener at him. Gabe Filardi, who I thought was a Kitchener Ranger, but he's not. Nikolai Ehlers, Cole Perfetti Spaghetti, Nino, Pretty Ballerina, Nina Ryder, Adam Lowry, Alex Iafallo, Josh Morrissey, the musician, Vladislav named Stinkoff, Neil Pionk, Mason like Appletons on a Friday, Morgan Red Baron, Dalen Sandberg, Rasmus Kupari, Colin Mella, Dylan Dumelu, David Gustafson, Nikita Chibrikov, Logan Stanley, Kitchener native, Brandon Tanev, Hayden Fleury, Punches, Luke Shen. Leaf fans are happy he's not there. Billy Heinen and Brad Lambert. Ottawa goals, Danny Heatley, the sniper and the killer. Danny Alfredson, Boo Hiss. Mike Fisher King, Anton Vermette, Peter Schaefer, Patrick Eves, Jason Spezza, good player too, Brian Smolinski, so Daniel the Giraffe Chara, Chris Neal, Black, Wade 6 million rated, Andre Masaros, Chris Kelly, Marty Havlet, Brendan Bochensky, Brian Potier, Flaka Farada, Anton Folchenkov, Christoph Schubert, Brian McGradden, Chris Phillips, still around, I'm surprised, Steve Martins, Danny Hamel, and Tarner Arneson. 3 minutes in. 2 more minutes. Much later. Enforcement. Ottawa. 2 more minutes. Aggression. Major on Poitier. So Winnipeg's going to get a little bit problematic, but they have 5 minutes to score as many goals as they have to. Connor can't do anything. And they can't do anything. Winnipeg trying to win in Ottawa and win the series in 6 games. 2 minutes later. There's the Jason Spezza we all know and love from Alfredson and Neal. How took Spezza so long to score a goal? I'm surprised. 3 minutes later. I'm out. Basaros and Alfredson. 2-0. Yeah, where the hell did that come from? 2 minutes later? No. Much later. Winnipeg? No. Skiers. Perfetti Spaghetti. His second from Tanev and Shifley makes it 2-1. 3 minutes later. Skiers. To have and half lot. The third from Chara. 3-1. 3-1. 5 minutes later. First minor penalty, and Wade Redden's going off. Winnipeg Steelers, pop-up power play goal. I follow. That's a big goal. Cha-cha-cha. His fifth from Filardi and Ehlers. Poitier gets hit. 3 more minutes. Ottawa takes a chance, but Convery is in the zone, auto zone. 3 more minutes. Ottawa hit. Much later. Winnipeg's in trouble. Empty net? No. Empty net? No. Empty net? Empty net. There will be a 7 from Alfredson and Smolinski. And the 06 Senators have forced a Game 7 in Winnipeg with a 4-2 win. It's amazing. Spezza and Hamel, their first goals finally after so many games away. IFL loan for Matt. So anyway, we got a Game 7. Winnipeg, as we said, they had to go to Game 7 against Connor McDavid and beat him. Then 6-5, so 7-6-5, hoping for 4, but in Ottawa, 4-6-5. Finally, they have a Game 7. It's Game 7, and it's going to be Connery versus Hasek. Got that. I'm going Hellebuck. It's got to be Hellebuck versus Hasek. Go with your best, guys. 4 minutes into the game. Pionk misses, and Patrick Keys has a chance. No. Fuck. Much later. Winnipeg with the penalty. It's Connor. Ottawa takes Chara. Ooh. Trying to send him a skier. Papa probably go. Massaros. Slovakian. His third from Alfredson and Peter Schaefer. Ooh, heard of Peter Schaefer. I did. 4 minutes later. Winnipeg Steelers. Josh Morrissey. A 7 for Perfetti and Morgan Barron. Last moment. Ehlers trying to score, but he can't. So Winnipeg looking pretty confident. Well, they're at home. It's 1-1. Chance for Ottawa? No. 4 more minutes. Chance? Ooh. 3 more minutes. Winnipeg? No. Sorry about that. Much later. No. No. Winnipeg? No. play. We're tied at 1. Watch, we have overtime. Much later. Go ahead. Much later. Pressure? A chance for Spezza? No. I got it was in a penalty. 4 minutes. What Lowry. Oh. And wouldn't you know it, we have overtime. 1-1. Hashik and Connor Hellebuck have been playing like lights out. 2 minutes. Battle. Control. Defense. Action. Chance for Matt. Oh. It's not a chance in the. And they had a chance for Matt. And he missed. 3 minutes later. Battle control. Action. Overtime and rolling. Watch Peter Ryder. His 8th from Morrissey and Appleton, and Winnipeg wins the series on prolongation. What a job by the Jets to do it. They did their job. They took out the 06 Senators 2-1, and Winnipeg does their job. Connor Hellebuck does what he had to do, and Winnipeg did it. They beat Ottawa. Massaros for Ottawa, Morrissey and Niederreiter. Only one penalty, and that was to Connor, and Ottawa scored. Clean game, clean action. And Ottawa had a couple of chances, and they failed. So the 25 Winnipeg Jets are your winners. Let's take a look at the runners up, the 06 Senators. Hashik 6-4, Ray Emery 9-1. Beautiful. Points Healy 29, Everson 26, Spezza 22, McGrattan, Hamel, and Arneson with 1 point each. For Winnipeg, the champs, Comrie 15-9. Hellebuck got the extra win because he had to. Shifley 26 points, Connor 24, Morrissey 21. Kupari, Colin, Chibarov, and Hayden Fleury with 1 point each. So that's their job and all that. It took a while. Let's look at the highlights. 3 hat tricks. Connor McDavid with 1. Danny Heatley put up a pair of hat tricks, including a 4-goal game against the 79 Jets. The number 1 game, the 65 Leafs, 84 Oilers in the Sweet 16, in which Edmonton had a chance to take out the 65 Leafs in 5 games. Well, they did, but not in Game 5. And Toronto scored 6 straight goals. Number 2, the 84 Oilers, 25 Seds in the quarterfinals at 2-2 when the Seds were up 5-2 and looking good to go up 3 games to 2. Anderson, Lumley, and Curry scoring late, and then Messier in overtime. And the 94 Leafs against the 06 Sens in the quarterfinals. Sens looked good up 3-1. It was a battle, but Toronto finally scored. A 3-goal comeback for the 25 Jets in Game 5 in Quebec in the quarterfinals. They were down 3-0 to Berglund, Slater, and Paymont by Connor with 2, Filardi, and Pionk. Danny Heatley scored the most goals, 18 for Matt 15, but they didn't win the title. Connor has 12. Assist-wise, Jason Spezza put up 21 assists for the 06 Senators, just ahead of Gretzky and Shifley. Boy, Spezza, 21 assists. Points-wise, Danny Heatley, Danny Albertson, and Mark Shifley. So, yeah, Heatley still was the point getter. Kyle Connor, 24 points. Penalty minutes, 53 by Chris Neal, Kevin McClellan second, Sergio Chara third. Goals against, Ken Dryden 5-1 and 172, but he just couldn't do it. Buddy LaRock. Dan Bouchard second, Dominic Hasek third in goals against. Comrie was fifth with 248. So Ray Emery 8th with a 299, if you must know. So yeah. So the MVP, well, it has to go to Winnipeg. It's got to go to Eric Comrie. But yeah, Mike, I think it's going to be Shifley. It has to be Shifley. But anyway, that's all the road. And the 2025 Winnipeg Jets are your champions. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.